Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm Anton, and as you can see, my background has definitely changed. I now have a new studio / game room, and it's an incredible space for me to make videos and play games, obviously. And also store a lot of my games and other stuff because, let's just say the old location was getting quite tight. But that will be a separate video talking about the entire game room, the setup and everything in the future. But for today's video, I bought a massive lot of video games. It's insane. We've got consoles, random junk, and quite a lot of video games as well. So in this video, we're going to be testing, taking a look at each and every console, cleaning them all, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. I picked up this lot for 300 Canadian dollars, which comes out to around 230 US dollars. So before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see future content on the channel, and let's get started. So let's take a look at everything we've got, starting off with the Nintendo systems. First, we've got 3 NES consoles. They were all in decent condition, except for being a bit dirty and having some stickers and tape on them. I tested all 3, and after a couple of tries, they all worked perfectly without issue. And for the games, we've got Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, Dr. Mario Complete in Box, and NES Open Complete in Box as well. Afterwards, I cleaned up all the systems and then just used a magic eraser to try and get off the thin layer of dirt. This proved to be quite effective, although there were quite a few scuffs and scratches still left, but I tried the best that I could, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Next, we've got the 4 Super Nintendo systems. After testing them, only 2 were able to read games properly, but luckily the ones that have problems are the ones that don't look that great, which are the yellow ones. For the 2 that worked, I cleaned them up perfectly and tried to get rid of the marker and paint. And I think the console came out looking pretty great. The Super Nintendo games that were included in the lot are Donkey Kong Country, NCAA Basketball, and Super Mario World. Next up are the 2 Nintendo 64s, with one having the jumper pack and the other one including the expansion pack. Both of the systems worked very well and were in great condition, so they just needed a quick wipe. The games that came with the lot are War Gods, Castlevania, and Cruisin' World. The Castlevania copy strangely is in Portuguese, which is definitely interesting. Luckily, this doesn't actually have anything to do with the language of the game, so I'm pretty happy that it's still in English and I will still be able to understand what's going on. Next up are 2 Nintendo GameCube systems. Just like the Nintendo 64s, they are both in great condition and work perfectly. They just needed a bit of cleaning, and that's pretty much about it. I managed to remove some marker on the side of the black one, as well as remove the thrift store price sticker, which were easy to get off. Surprisingly enough, there was actually a game inside one of the GameCubes, and that definitely caught me off guard. What is this? Wait, what? This blew my mind. I really never knew that the Mario Kart Double Dash bonus disc was actually inside the GameCube the entire time. So when I turned on the console and the main menu didn't load up, I was quite confused and honestly a little bit startled. So that was definitely unexpected, but a really cool find nonetheless. I also got the Incredibles for the Nintendo GameCube, but it's not that interesting, so I thought I'd just mention it. There was also a Wavebird controller included in the lot as well, which just looked atrocious. I didn't even want to touch the thing, and when I did, I had to wash my hands immediately. So I just assembled the entire controller and then dropped the plastic shell in the sink, and then completely gave it a thorough clean. I also cleaned the buttons as well as used a disinfectant cleaner to soak the analog sticks as well. I then reassembled the controller and it worked perfectly fine. Even though the controller isn't in the best state, it's still great to have a secondary Wavebird controller. Just gotta find another dongle for it and it will be complete. In terms of the Nintendo handhelds, we've got 2 Nintendo Game Boys, 1 Game Boy Pocket, and 1 Game Boy Advance system. The 2 Game Boys sadly have problems and do not work. I may be able to fix them, but it's not likely as one has water damage and another one has some other issues as well. If I do manage to fix them or do anything, I will definitely make a video about it. The Game Boy Pocket is the best Game Boy here. It is in excellent condition, so all it needed was some quick cleaning. The buttons were a little weird to press as well, so they just needed some cleaning underneath, which I took apart the Game Boy and did. The battery cover was also not included, so I may have to find a replacement one. The Game Boy Advance was completely dead when I first got it. It didn't turn on or do anything. The condition wasn't great either, so it was to be expected. But as soon as I continued to turn it off and on again, it began to have some life. It would just turn on for a second and then shut off completely. So I decided to open it up, and to my surprise, there wasn't anything wrong with it. So I gave the system a clean, and then it started to work better and better each time I turned it on. Now it turns on, no problem, and it has been the same way ever since. I may decide to mod it or even change the shell completely, and if I do, I will definitely make a video on that. Tetris was the only Game Boy game, and there were no Game Boy Color games. However, there were a few Game Boy Advance games, with the most notable one being The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, which I am really happy to finally get in the collection. Now, moving on to the Sega consoles. First, we've got two Sega Genesis consoles. These both worked well, and they just needed an easy clean. Speaking of Sega Genesis, we've also got 5 Sega Genesis 2 consoles. And yeah, that's a lot. These things all worked fine also, without any issues. There was also a Sega Genesis AtGames plug-and-play console which worked well too, and whether that's considered a bad thing or not, well, I'm glad to have one at least, because at least I can actually see how bad it is. For games, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and Green Dog the Beach Surfer Dude. Next up are 3 Sega Master Systems. 2 of them worked correctly without any issues. However, the third one didn't exactly work, which was quite disappointing, but it may have to just be fixed. I actually didn't know this, but the system does actually have a built-in game, which is pretty cool. Next, we've got the Sega Dreamcast. This system just needed a good clean, and that's it, because it did have quite the amount of scuffs. Sadly, it didn't come with any of the AV cables, so I wasn't really able to play games, but then again, I don't have any controllers or games for it. So the next Game Swap will definitely have me looking for some. And for the final Sega system, we've got the Sega Game Gear, which works but definitely has some problems. Most likely is that the capacitors are failing, and this happens over time to many Sega Game Gears just because the capacitors were made pretty cheaply. And I can imagine that this Game Gear will just get worse and worse over time, so they will all need to be replaced. Next, we're moving on to the PlayStation systems. The PS1 is in excellent condition, so it just needed a quick wipe as well. It came with all the necessary cables and controllers, as well as a few games. A PS1 second model, I don't really know exactly how this is called, but it was also included in the bundle, and it just needed a bit of cleaning as well. It just had a scuff or two, and I just easily took them off. Next, we have the PS2, which just needed some dusting. That was really about it. The system worked great without any issue and came with everything just like the PS1. There were also a few games with the PS2 also. And moving up to the PS3 systems, we've got the PS3 Slim and the original PS3. The original PS3 sadly has an overheating problem, but the PS3 Slim looks great and works excellently well. It also came with 2 DualShock 3 controllers, and one had an analog stick issue which I easily fixed. And finally, we've got the Xbox systems, which we've got the original Xbox, which works really well. It came with a weird screen attachment, which does work, but does have some problems with lines in the LCD. And lastly, we have an Xbox 360, which just needed a bit of cleaning, but it works great. It came with multiple USB controllers as well, which are great for use on PCs. Anyways guys, that's about it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. There was a lot of work and effort put into this video, and this video was definitely fun to make, and it was a bit different, so hope you guys are looking forward to more interesting, unique content. Now that I've got this place, I can do more unique and different content on the channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see future content on the channel, and ring the bell and do all the other stuff. That's definitely appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next one.